What's up, everybody? A bit of breaking news for you. Today's December 18th, 2020. We just got word that the United States government, the Department of Commerce, has added DJI to its entity list. What that means, it's an export blacklist. That means that United States companies can no longer export goods of any kind to DJI for their manufacturing process. That includes drones, as far as I can tell, gimbals, action cameras, everything that DJI manufacturers. The United States is no longer allowed to do business with DJI exporting wise. So now obviously DJI is the largest manufacturer of drones in the entire world. So while this affects some of their other markets as well, it primarily hits biggest in the drone community. What does that mean for us as consumers? Right now, as far as I can tell, it hasn't affected anything directly. This just came down within the last 2 or 3 hours. You're still able to buy DJI products online from their website directly. As far as I can tell, they're still up on Amazon and places like that. That shouldn't affect your ability to purchase the items. What it could affect going forward is pricing with the sensors and microchips that the United States is presumably providing to this Chinese-based company. They are going to have to find those somewhere else. Now, how much does DJI contribute, or the United States contribute to DJI's manufacturing process? We don't really know directly, but obviously they contribute some, or this ban wouldn't take place. So as DJI has to now find the items they were getting from the US before somewhere else, that could lead to shortages in supply, which means it may get harder to get a drone or gimbal or whatever it is you're trying to get from DJI. It could affect pricing because now they're having to work harder or spend more money to get the things they were getting before. It could drive the pricing up. Probably is going to affect third-party companies who were producing parts and accessories for these DJI products. Now that might affect that market. To get into a little bit about why this happened, I'll just read a little quote here. It says, the filing that added DJI to the entity list accuses the company of enabled wide-scale human rights abuses within China through abusive genetic collection and analysis or high technology surveillance. Now, this is likely a reference to DJI, who has been providing the Chinese government with drones to surveil some of their detention camps within various provinces there. And because they're using that product in that way, the United States is leveling this sanction against DJI. It raises all kinds of ethical and moral questions. I'm not going to get into all that right now. That's for other people to work out. But I just want to let you know what's going on today. The questions, the first questions I have is, will I still be able to buy DJI products? The answer is yes. What will it do to pricing? We don't know yet. It likely will affect some pricing. Now, word is that China has seen some of these sanctions coming, and DJI likely, like some of other Chinese companies that have had these kind of sanctions, has probably been working to procure the items that they already get from the US elsewhere before this, if they saw this coming down. Other companies in China have had recent sanctions similar, and they were added to the entity list. You're still able to buy those products here in the US, but it did affect their supply chain. So it's possible that DJI has been working on this in the background already, knowing this was coming. We don't really know that. Now, one thing that we have seen from some of these other companies who have been recently sanctioned by the Department of Commerce similarly is their apps in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. The availability of their apps have been compromised at times. So one thing I do suggest that I've already gone and done is go and update all of your DJI apps right now. It's never bad. It can't hurt anything, but just in case Apple or Google choose to take those apps down from their app store, you want to get the most recent version of those apps in your device as soon as possible, just in case that happens. It may not. We don't know what's going to happen yet. Now, other questions that come to mind: what does this mean for United States-based drone manufacturers? I would imagine there's been some response by some of those companies saying they hope that these human rights violations aren't true. But you know that it's got anything that eats into DJI's drone footprint in that market for the US-based companies is never a bad thing for the US companies. Obviously, the United States government adding DJI to its entity list and export blacklist is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big attention grabber. Major headline to see the world's largest drone manufacturer added to, and essentially it's being sanctioned by the government of the United States. What do we know? What's going to change going forward? We don't know. Will the new administration potentially in January roll these sanctions back? We have no idea. But for now, I wanted to get you that information as soon as I could. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that stuff. I will get you more information as soon as I know more. Thanks for tuning in.